Today on Inquirer, hazing complaint filed against 6 individuals tagged in the death of Adamson University student John Matthew Salilig. President Bongbong Marcos and Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim agree to bring South China Sea dispute to Asean. Senate begins inquiry on public utility vehicles modernization program. And Philippine Coast Guard says suspected debris of missing air ambulance spotted off Palawan. Good evening. A hazing complaint was filed against 6 individuals tagged in the death of John Matthew Salilig. INQUIRER.net's justice reporter Tech Torres Tupas has the details. Tech?
Neil, the Binyan Police on Thursday filed before the Department of Justice a case for violation of the anti-hazing law against 6 members of the Tau Gamma Phi fraternity for the death of Adamson University student John Matthew Salilig. Binyan City Police Chief Virgilio Jopia said complainants is the sibling of the victim and a hazing survivor. Named in the complaint are the following: Earl Anthony Romero, Tung Cheng Teng, Sandro Victorino, Michael Lambert Ritalde, Jerome Balot, and Mark Pedrosa. Initially, the 6 was supposed to undergo inquest proceeding, a summary procedure to determine whether an individual arrested without a warrant will be released on account of a dismissal of charges or will undergo preliminary investigation, but all the 6 respondents have signed a waiver of detention and asked for preliminary investigation. Binyan City Police Chief Jopia said the 6 will remain under their custody. The DOJ has set a preliminary investigation on March 10 where the 6 is required to submit their counter affidavit. The 6 respondents is represented by a private lawyer, according to Jopia, because earlier, PAO Chief Persida Acosa has refused to represent the 6, saying the relatives of the victim has already reached out to them first. Neil?
May latest info tayo na galing sa Binyan Police, papunta rin sila sa PAO para ihingi ng abogado yung mga suspect po ng yung mga miyembro ng Tau Gamma dahil wala raw po silang mga abogado. Paano nyo i-handle yung sitwasyon po na ganito?
Hindi namin sila tutulungan. Conflict of interest. Lumapit sila sa mga private lawyers. Ang lakas ng loob nilang mambugbog, tapos ngayon lalapit sa PAO. Ay nauna yung biktima eh. Nauna din yung yung state witness. Oh, bakit natin papayagan na mag-PAO versus PAO? Conflict yan. Lumapit sila, manap sila. Kaya kayo gagawa kayo ng krimen, tapos gusto nyo PAO? Pagtanggol kayo? Oh. Ayo, kung gusto mo ba, hawakan ng PAO yung mga yan? Paano kung anak mo yung pinatay? Hindi napatay yan, pinatay. Pag may hawakan 2x2 o kaya sinturon, ipinag-aagupit mo sa isang tao, hindi kapabayaan yun. Pagpatay yun. Dapat kaso nila, murder. Lalo yan, ibinaon yung sa inilibing, may concealment of the corpus delicti. Sino patutuwa dyan? Hindi na nga ako dati na igagalit. Ngayon, nakakagalit yan. Hindi nakakatuwa ba yan? Nanay din ako? Oh. Kaya kung minsan yung iba nilalagay ang batas sa kanilang kamay eh.
So Tech, these 6 individuals named in this complaint are currently under the custody of police, right?
Yes, the Binyan Police.
Let's talk about what's next para dito sa kasong ito. So currently, there is a complaint. The 6 individuals are under the custody of the police. Ano ang sunod na mangyayari at ano ang aasahan natin dito, Tech? Kasi iba pa ito doon sa kaso na sinasabi natin na involved na yung korte. Tama?
Yeah. Kasi lang to reklamo lang to na isinampa, dito pa lang siya sa Department of Justice.
So ano ang aasahan natin dyan sa Department of Justice sa mga darating na araw, Tech?
Since nag-sign sila ng waiver of detention, mag-stay muna sila sa Binyan Police, tapos yung DOJ prosecutors, nag-set sila ng March 10 na schedule for preliminary investigation where all the 6 are required to submit a counter affidavit. Meaning they have to respond to the allegation na involved sila dun sa hazing, and they will also have to submit the evidence if they have any.
Ano naman yung goal, Tech, kapag sinabi natin na preliminary investigation? Ano yung pwedeng mga maging outcome na sinasabi natin nitong preliminary investigation na ito?
Kasi kung inquest yung nangyari, yung presentation of evidence will have to be done in court na. Unlike here, sa preliminary investigation, yung determination of probable cause, if there is enough evidence to file, to charge them in court, prosecutor muna. So, i-determine pa siya ng prosecutor.
At kung may makitang probable cause to file charges, doon pa lamang papasok yung korte. Tama ba?
Doon pa lang sila kakasuhan.
Maraming salamat, Tech. That's Tech Torres Tupas reporting live. Philippine President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. and Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim agree to bring up territorial disputes in the South China Sea to the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN. Prime Minister Anwar said on Wednesday that he and President Marcos discussed the South China Sea disputes at a bilateral meeting in Malacanang Palace. The Philippines and Malaysia are claimants to parts of South China Sea, which China is claiming to be nearly entirely its own.
We did discuss the South China Sea issue, and I shared President Marcos Jr.'s concern that due to the complexity and sensitivity of the issue, we should try and engage and take the position at the multilateral level between ASEAN so that we have a comprehensive approach and achieve an amicable resolution to this outstanding problem.
Meanwhile, President Marcos says he views the visit of Prime Minister Anwar as a reaffirmation of the two nations' commitment to revitalize their bilateral ties. Prime Minister Anwar is the first head of government to have visited the Philippines under President Marcos Jr.'s administration. According to the Presidential Communications Office, President Marcos issued a statement in his toast remarks during the official dinner hosted for the visiting Malaysian leader on Wednesday. Marcos says he is heartened by Prime Minister Anwar's visit. The Philippine president also says that there is an immense potential in the areas of trade and investment. The Senate has begun its inquiry on the Public Utility Vehicles Modernization Program. During the hearing of the Senate Committee on Public Services, transport officials assured senators that there is no phase-out of traditional jeepneys, even after the new December 31 deadline for them to consolidate their routes and join cooperatives. For the Department of Transportation, the memorandum issued by the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board only, quote, pertains to the end of the consolidation period. DOTR Undersecretary Mark Steven Pastor points out that even traditional jeepneys can still operate as long as they are consolidated. Consolidation of jeepneys operations and routes is part of the government's Public Utility Vehicle Modernization Program. LTFRB Chairman Teofilo Guadis III confirmed the DOTR's interpretation of their December 31 deadline for consolidation. Guadis said there are still other stages of the modernization program after consolidation. However, senators did not agree with the transport officials. Senator Grace Poe countered the LTFRB chief, saying those who do not consolidate do not have the provisional authority to operate. Senator Nancy Binay agreed with Poe, insisting that it was really a phase-out and not a consolidation, as transportation officials would like to call it. The Philippine Coast Guard says suspected debris of a missing helicopter has been found in Palawan waters. According to the Philippine Coast Guard Command Center, crew members of the BRP Malabrigo spotted the possible debris of the Yellow Bee helicopter off the coast of Brooks Point in Balabac. The Philippine Air Force also extended assistance in the ongoing search and rescue operation. The Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines says 5 passengers on board the air ambulance remain missing. According to CAAP, the medical helicopter departed from Mangsi Island, located in the far southwest portion of the municipality of Balabac, for a medical airlift mission. Next on Inquirer Today, Senator Risa Hontiveros says suspects behind Adamson student's death should be meted full force of anti-hazing law. Deletion of all economic provisions in 1987 Constitution sought. And Manila International Airport Authority orders enforcement of no-pocket policy for airport personnel in NAIA amid theft cases. This is Inquirer Today. We'll be back shortly.
Siya yung nagbigay ng liwanag, pag-asa sa akin para makabuo ng magandang buhay.
Hindi naman nakikita natin sa gender ng tao yan. Ang importante sa atin yung pagmamahalan.
Ako nga pala si Ariel P. Castronuevo, aka Mayora Jewel Dumanico, at isa po akong parte ng LGBT.
Ako pala si Arnold Dumanico.
Noong 2010 na napadpad ako dun sa Paranaque, dun ko na-meet si Arnold sa isang banding na inuman. At hindi ko na-expect na darating kami sa puntong to na magkakasama kami. Siguro mga 3 days lang ata, nanligaw kasi siya in that time, kaso hindi ko pa siya sinasagot. Then nagkaroon ako ng problema sa father ko doon na ang nagmamayari yung tita ko. So, nung wala na ako matutuluyan kasi nung time na yun, si Arnold yung kumupkup sa akin that time.
Sabi ko sa kanya, doon ka tumira sa bahay. Kahit pa paano, may nagtuloy ako na rito dahil pamahal din naman ako sa'yo. Ituloy natin itong relasyon natin na ito. Tapos siya, pinakilala sa mga magulang ko. Okay naman sa magulang ko na una, hindi tanggap. Pero that time nung tumatagal, natatanggap na siya ng mga magulang ko na nagmamahal kami dalawa.
Nung third year high school ako, ang hirap talaga mag-come out that time. Kasi yung father ko, hindi talaga siya aware sa mga LGBT na yan. Yung father ko, dahil nga may 7 kami magkakapatid at may mga kuya pa ako. So, ang hirap kasi nga, nadidiscriminate sa labas ng bahay. Madali naman matanggap. Kaso nga lang, syempre yung pagiging lalaki ng tatay ko, parang medyo na-disappoint siya na parang nasasaktan siya kapag inaasar akong bakla. Pero dahil nga sa naramdaman ko yun na na-hurt ako kasi parang hindi ako tanggap before. Pero pinatunayan ko habang tumatagal na nung nag-come out na ako nung third year high school ko, nakita niya naman na nag-i-improve ako at nakakagawa ako ng mabuti. Kaya natanggap din niya ako.
I love you, Mama! Thank you!
Nag-propose ako sa kanya.
Naiyak ako na that time na yun na naging parang halo ba, saya, mangyayari sa darating na araw na to, sa sunod-sunod na panahon. Ayan, nabigay ko yung best ko na pagiging sa asawa para sa kanila.
Yung sa kasal namin is yung commitment namin na mangyayari ni Papa. Kumbaga parang gusto lang din namin iparamdam sa ibang tao na pwede kaming ikasal kahit hindi kami tutungtong ng simbahan. Kasi naniniwala naman ako, kami ni Papa, na sa mata ng maraming tao na kahit hindi ganun kaligal yung kasal namin, at least maramdaman namin na yun yung parang bubuo sa pamilya na meron kami. Sa mga bad comments na narinig ko, pinapakita ko lang sa kanila na kaya namin ni Papa. At gusto kong isa ako sa maging inspirasyon ng mga LGBT. Kaya namin ipakita sa buong mundo na yung love is very unconditional.
Senator Risa Hontiveros says the full force of the anti-hazing law should be brought down to perpetrators in the death of Adamson University student John Matthew Salilig, who allegedly died due to hazing. The remains of Salilig were found in a vacant lot in Cavite on Tuesday, more than a week after he was reported missing. Hontiveros says that while fraternities and sororities are not illegal, activities involving violence such as hazing should never be tolerated. The opposition senator says the anti-hazing law and other regulations should be proactively implemented to avoid a repeat of what happened to Salilig.
Of course, all laws, any laws are open for future evaluation and amendment. I remember Senate President Miggs spoke very strongly, being the principal author and sponsor of this bill. When we passed it, he really called for its full implementation, and I'm sure any of us legislators ay magiging bukas kung kailangan pa itong patuloy na pagandahin, pahusayin, especially in the light of more recent experiences such as this one.
Watch the full inside look interview with Senator Hontiveros on INQUIRER.net social media channels. The Joint Foreign Chambers of the Philippines is pushing to scrap all economic provisions in the 1987 Constitution. Talks on proposed charter change recently erupted in both chambers of Congress as several lawmakers raised the need to relax economic restrictions in the Constitution. During Thursday's Senate Committee on Constitutional Amendments and Revision of Codes public hearing in Davao City, the representative of the Joint Foreign Chambers of the Philippines, Julian Payne, calls for the deletion of all economic provisions in the Charter. Payne points out that the coalition is rooted on the belief that minimizing restrictions would help increase foreign direct investments. He further argues that removing economic restrictions from the Constitution will allow Congress to aptly and immediately adapt to changes in internal and external contexts.
And there's two different issues. One is the degree of restrictions, which can vary depending on what your vital issues are. And the second is the ability to respond and adjust. And that's where you get into the hardcore issue of whether it should be in the Constitution, or it should be in a specific law approved by Congress, or in an executive order.
The Manila International Airport Authority has ordered the enforcement of a no-pocket policy for security personnel at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport after the arrest of airport personnel involved in theft. This comes after the Office for Transportation Security on Wednesday arrested one of its own security screening officers. The suspect was caught stealing a watch from a Chinese traveler. Earlier this week, two Office for Transportation Security personnel also faced similar complaints after they were caught stealing cash from a Thai tourist. In a statement, Manila International Airport Authority General Manager Cesar Chong says these cases of theft compelled him to order the strict enforcement of Manila International Airport Authority's service standard policies. This includes prohibiting security personnel from direct interactions with passengers, such as bringing bags into their area of assignment. He also ordered the enforcement of a no-pocket policy for uniforms and jackets of airport personnel. Manila International Airport Authority is also working with the Office of Transportation Security to improve vetting and background checks on their security personnel. Alamin naman natin ang mainit na balita sa mundo ng showbiz kasama si Pauline Del Rosario ng Bandera. Pauline?
Hi Neil at sa ating mga kabandera all over the universe. Heto na nga ang latest chika. Gustong makilala ni Alger Abrenica ang rumored boyfriend ng dating misis na si Kylie Padilla. Sa isang ambush interview, inamin ni Alger na kahit hiwalay na silang dalawa, nag-aalala pa rin siya para kay Kylie, lalo na't hindi pa niya nakikilala ang jowa umano ng aktres. Ayon pa sa aktor, kung mabibigyan siya ng pagkakataon, gusto niya talagang makausap ito ng personal para maging panatag ang kanyang kalooban. Ibinunyag din ni Alger na maayos na ang co-parenting arrangement nila ng dating asawa. Madalas daw silang nag-uusap ngayon ni Kylie para pag-usapan ang pagpapalaki sa kanilang dalawang anak. Taong 2021, nakumpirma na hiwalay na sina Kylie at Alger matapos ang 2 taong kasal. Sa ngayon, napapabalitang isang tattoo artist ang bagong jowa ni Kylie Habang noong Valentine's Day naman, naglantad sina Aljor at AJ Raval tungkol sa tunay nilang relasyon. At yan ang bandera chika natin for today. Thank you, Neil!
Salamat, Pauline. And these are the stories you need to know today. I'm Neil Mercado. Catch Inquirer Today live weekdays at 6 p.m. Follow INQUIRER.net on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Reddit. For more stories, visit INQUIRER.net. Good evening.